What support do you look to from others to help you to be part of Mission and older people? And I'm going to start with Sandra, and we're going to go around the other way just so that we have maybe a different dynamic. Let's go with that.
Well, as a church, which is probably reasonably typical, where 50% of the members are over 65, we have a real concern, to put it mildly, about succession planning, because others are going to have to work longer, and we really have that is somewhere that we need to try and find more people to come in behind us. We're perceiving a gap about how we keep dealing with organising things and running things and managing things. There's an issue around funding. There are dedicated trusts, and we have some sort of individual trusts in the congregation, but this is a great big subject, and action requires money, and so there is a sort of that sort of support, and so being able to I know as a gamekeeper turned poacher in the funding world, it's very hard being able to fund things, and it's there is a bit of a disincentive around when it's not easy to be able to fund things. So I suppose we need to work hard on legacies and things like that. Call a spade a spade. We need secure funding for staffing as well, because we do need paid people to be following through on this sort of work. And then there's all that practical support that we all need around the things like transport. And it's occurring to me that, we have smart houses now. We've got all this technology that can deal with houses. So surely there must be very smart churches that are possible that will make it so easy for older people and, people as they increasingly age to continue to be able to access the best of their spiritual care.
Okay, pass it to Ian. Go that way. Thanks.
I think at a more national level or multinational level, in fact, one of the things that strikes me that might be worth doing, and it builds very much on what people have already been involved in. I spent about 10 or 12 years as a member of a group called the Consultative Group on Ministry Amongst Children, which is an agency of CTBI. I know that Grant's still involved with that. And that seemed to me to be a very, very useful way of not reinventing wheels, where every denomination around the UK and Ireland was coming together to talk about their experience, support each other, but also to share in the development of resources. And it strikes me there might well be the opportunity here, because there are so many threads that need to be pulled together and held together here, that we might think ideally of having a consultative group in ministry amongst older people. And is that something we could bring together? Now, it's difficult because in children's work, because of what I said earlier, there are professional staff out there who can be brought together to be those experts. And we haven't got there yet in churches as far as older people are concerned. But it does strike me there might be an opportunity there to bring another section of our church, the Ecumenical Relations Department in this case, into the discussion as well, because there might well be a way of not reinventing wheels, sharing resources, sharing ideas, bouncing off each other and saying, what are the issues of mission, of working with older people, working for older people, doing things to older people, whatever it may be, but all of those threads together that might resource us all better, rather than have different silos within our own churches. I don't think we're too guilty of that in this subject in here, because this today tells you that. But maybe there's just a wee bit about bringing together the resources, because all denominations are facing the same issues, and all communities are facing the same issues. So maybe there's some wee seed that we could plant there about growing that kind of thing to complement what's happening at a local level.
Thank you, Ian. Maureen.
Well, I think that's wonderful, because I feel very strongly about that. When I wrote the first business plan for Faith in Older People, I put, we need to form a forum of all denominations and also bring in other faiths. And it's been incredibly difficult to actually do. But I think that it's a really important thing. And one of the things that we've learned going around the country, talking about people's work with congregations, is actually the chance to talk to each other. And we learn a great deal from just talking to each other, seeing what initiatives have taken place, what's been difficult and what are the mutual things. So I think that's a challenge that we should really take up, because I think there's merit in it, and there's a whole raft of issues that we could take forward very positively. Certainly from the experience in FIOP, working collaboratively has been the only way we can exist, with two halves of us for most of the time, and we now have three halves, which is a distinct improvement. But there's a lot of challenges, but what we've done is brought in other people's experience, and I look at Callum and I look at Sheila, who I work on a totally different thing, but it's connected with about isolation and poverty amongst older people. So we have lots of connections. We need to join the dots. So I think there's a big challenge there for us.
Great. Tom.
Thank you. Yeah, just to pick up something I said earlier, that there's a lot of goodwill and eagerness to help folks living with dementia. If I can come to that specifically, there's a vast number and growing problem in our community where we cannot really care for the people with dementia. People on their own, people with families, carers are really being crushed. And so for our congregation, looking to find not just a drop-in centre, not just a coffee place to come to, but a real guidance and support as to how to set up a dementia support unit in the church. Now, a number of my neighbours have done this. I think Kings Park have done so, up in Newton Mearns as well. Mearns Kirk have done these sort of things. And I think there's a place for us as a church, maybe to give some sort of guidance and guidelines to enable congregations to have the confidence to start a sort of drop-in centre, a support group, not just for tea and coffee, but memory clinics, perhaps people with expertise who will come along. And we've been trying to get this off the ground, and just a wee bit of help for congregations like ours who are really keen to do this, but give them a wee bit of professional care and support and direction.
Within the environment I work in, any support would be welcome. Older people historically is a very poorly funded sector of social care. I agree with a couple of the panelists, because I think we've both touched on it. Collaboration, sometimes in your daily work you can become very insular and very protective about what you do. Sharing of ideas is my mantra. I love sharing ideas. I love speaking about ideas. From a local point of view within East Renfrewshire here, all of the care home managers meet regularly, regardless of the organisation that they represent. There has been a project that's been going for about the last 14 months, My Home Life. All of the managers bought into it, and it's really about sharing ideas, sharing common ground, being able to develop new initiatives, new ideas, new ways forward in the care of older people. There are no stigmas attached, there are no loyalties attached to that in terms of, well, it's my idea. I'm happy to share any ideas with any organisation, with any other care manager, and they have all bought into that.
Okay. Alan, final word on this.
Okay. Fairly short, Colin.
Wonderful.
To be honest, the reality is that what kind of support would we like to see? We would like to see people adopting Crossreach, and adopting Crossreach as the expert in social care. The church is expert in social care, who can support people at different stages of their journey, from the moment they're born to the point where they die. And for older people, we can certainly be providing that level of support, and it's just as Tom has said about initiatives that churches want to get off the ground. We've supported a number of churches to get a range of initiatives off the ground, and we want to be facing the church and involved with the church and engaging with the church, getting alongside different churches who have ideas. And when we are asked for advice and support, we're obviously very, very keen to provide that support. But I think it's that whole, people are saying, collaboration and support, but not looking beyond what's actually staring you in the face and is in front of you, and using the resource which is on our doorstep.
Okay, thank you for that.